Governor Newsom says he is fed up. There are no more excuses. He says the state has done its part, providing plenty of funding to get encampments cleared up. He wants to see the results now. Governor Newsom made the announcement here in Los Angeles yesterday. He joined Caltrans to clear several encampment sites.
And we had our big peak body challenge today. 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups. You try to get under 5 minutes. How'd you get?
We got close. I was about 5:25. You were right behind me.
Oh, hi. Hi. You're muted too. Unless it's something on my end. Does anyone hear Lila besides me? I don't hear her. Testing. Can anyone hear Lila?
Now, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a you problem, Lila. It's a you problem.
That's the first time. Pat always blames me when he can't hear me. And this time it actually was my fault. Pat is right. Pat's right.
There we go.
Thursday night, our TMI show, Thursday Media Inanity. There was actually quite a bit of it. How are you doing?
I literally came right from work, so I'm in my work electrician outfit. Like, hey, look at this guy's an electrician. And I just had my very first sip of beer, so no pre-gaming.
Look at that.
Which probably means my analysis is gonna be sharper than ever.
Oh no, it's gonna suck. Yeah, it's so funny. It's 6:30 and I'm just having my first sip also. But when we have a 5 o'clock show, it's like 5. Yeah. There's a lot.
What about your
going
breakfast
on
cocktails?
That, well, for sure, but that was hours ago. Okay, just as a reminder, please, everybody, make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell, please. And did you want to start with something fun and then move right into our show?
That always works. Well, I'm explaining. I was going to type in the chat because Jay asked. My drink of the day is Urban Roots, like riding a bike, local brewery. Same one I had last night, but different beer.
All right.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I like that.
What do we got for fun?
All right. Well, but we also have our cheers. Sorry. I just realized. We have both. Do you want to start with fun?
It's our show. We could do whatever we want. We can start with one good thing and end it.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you Sunday. All right. Let's start with our cheers. So we're just, we have a formula that will stick to.
Flow.
Yeah. So we're not really doing much to cover Israel specifically tonight, but if there's any moment of joy to be celebrated in Gaza or the West Bank or amongst Palestinians, we always love to highlight it. And this just was a really cool story about artists who create art on the beach in Gaza. So that's what we are sharing.
Along Gaza's battered coastline, the beach is now more than a place to escape the war. It's become a canvas. Here, sculptures shape the sand into art that lasts only for a few hours, but leaves a deep impression on those who view it. Artists like Yazid Abu Jarad turn this stretch of sand into a gathering place. Children watch closely, some standing barefoot in the edges of the artwork.
When we create art on Gaza's beach, we see so many people gather around us. It brings joy. You can see it on the faces of children and even the elderly. People drift into a different world for a moment. They look at the artwork and they see an image completely different from what they've been used to since the war began. The bombings, the destruction, and the buzzing of drones. Through our drawings, even a small picture can change how they feel.
With no professional equipment, the artists rely on whatever they can find to use as tools. A small brush, a broken tile, a stick pulled from the shore. But these are enough to carve images that draw crowds. Like the coastline itself, their work is temporary.
We're here every single day, drawing from morning until night. As you know, the tides and the strong waves erase our work by evening, but we come back the next day and start again. Art is our talent. We love sculpting and drawing on Gaza's soil, and even after 2 years of war, we never give up.
For displaced families living in tents nearby, the sculptures offer a brief moment of stillness, a reminder that Gaza's creativity endures even under the harshest conditions.
When we see young people sculpting and creating images of Gaza, it makes us happy. It strengthens our attachment to this place even more. We are born here. Our children are born here. This is our home. We're rooted in Gaza.
On Gaza's shores, Yazid shapes sand into intricate works of art. Every day they are swept away with the tide, but he returns to create another one. Each sculpture a testament to resilience and hope.
As the sun sets over the sea, the final rays rest on their latest creation, a fleeting masterpiece carrying the quiet message that beauty still survives in Gaza. Ibrahim Al-Khalili, Al Jazeera, Deir al-Balah, Gaza, Palestine.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera.
I just think that's so beautiful and generous because they know it's going to go away, you know, like to do that, knowing people gather there when they're able. I don't know. I just love it.
It is. And there's something I do appreciate about temporary art.
Yeah.
You know, I was an art history major in college, and just the overblown, overvaluated, just commodification of art. You know, it's not. I like the guy on the street corner painting something for somebody, or you know.
Yeah.
So you got to love this, and it is heartbreaking for sure.
It is absolutely heartbreaking.
But it does remind me. Did you see the video of the art installations with the robo dogs?
No, no.
So
I
should have pulled it. I'll pull it for our next show.
Yeah.
But they have a rink that's like, you know, 20 foot by 20 foot, and it's all robo dogs with hyper realistic billionaires' heads on them, and they're pooping out artwork. They're pooping out AI art. So they literally squat and poop little AI drawings.
All right. I could
pretty good.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, and apparently all the robo dogs sold for $100,000 or more each, and it's Elon Musk, it's
right,
Bill Gates, it's all those guys.
I hope that money's going to something good.
Yeah, I think it is because well, who knows? But the cause is like it's definitely a statement on society.
100%. Yes, yes, that is a good statement for sure. For sure. Okay, let's have our. We're not even going to do the spin of the wheel. We're just going to show something fun and then get right into it. So, Pat, go ahead and you pick. What do you want?
Let's go with all billionaires are bad.
Always.
Since we're talking about billionaires.
$350 million U.S. citizens versus 1,000 billionaires. You do the math theoretically. This shouldn't even be hard. They usurp the true value of our labor, and then they send it right to the top. It is a pyramid scheme. Our entire economy is one gigantic MLM. Have you ever wondered why a trans athlete playing high school basketball is headline news? And can you name a single time that an immigrant actually stole your job? Did you know on average it only costs you $35 a year to fund SNAP benefits? Meanwhile, $750 go to corporate subsidies. We all have a common enemy, but it's not the ones they tell you it should be. It's time to bring back the public guillotine.
I love that. I love the way you spelled guillotine. Again, I was permanently banned for, they don't know what permanently means over at Twitter, but I was permanently banned for saying that we needed to get a little French revolutionary in us, and that got me banned. But but I know I've told this story, but the way I actually got back on was like on my 10th appeal. I said the liberals are trying to, the blue MAGA liberals are trying to shut me down and censor my free speech or something.
Free speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And within 30 minutes, I was back on. Crazy.
It's
all
wild.
right.
Shout out to Jules, I know she's one of them that we both learned that tip from, right? I think, well, maybe you didn't, but she's always been promoting that.
Really? That's so funny. I just don't even remember now because it was actually a few years ago, but yeah. But it's funny because now people just talk about genocide openly. They talk about guillotines openly, which are two different things. I understand that. But I'm just saying, like, it is interesting what passes under the free speech gods and what doesn't.
Yeah. In Germany, if you're protesting for Palestine, you can go to jail.
Yeah. And
you can be out saying, we love bombing and killing the Palestinian children. And the cops will just say, yeah, you got your right.
And we showed that one video of the guy at the Palestine Action protest who, like, he said, I am to the cops or whatever they call them, the Billy Club guys. I am pro genocide. I am 100% pro Israel doing a genocide on Palestinians. Is that okay if I say that? And they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. You can say whatever you want. He's like, but you're arresting this guy who says he supports Palestine Action. Yeah, that's against the law. But he can be pro genocide. I mean, he wasn't. He was obviously making a point, but like, that's insane. It's just insane.
That's our world. It brings us to a lot of our show with Bari Weiss and whatnot tonight.
Let's start with that. Yeah. Okay. So, by the way, nice pivot. Bari, I think, is how she refers to herself.
Bari. If I don't like them, I disrespect their name.
I think I just wanted everybody to know that it's an intentional slight against her that you call her Bari.
Barely piss.
Yeah. So now this person who is, I think, a real lightweight intellectually, like, that famous or infamous clip of her on Joe Rogan's show where she insisted that Tulsi Gabbard was just a Syrian toady, a toady for the Syrian government. And then when he was like,
what's
so what
a
do you mean
toady?
by toady? Yeah. And she couldn't even figure that out. She had her own free press little website. I mean, obviously bigger than ours, but it was not some sort of behemoth that had to get bought by other behemoths. But that did not stop Larry Ellison from buying that outfit for $150 million and then putting her in charge of CBS News. So it's important to know what she thinks, but this clip is
all of us
3.5 minutes long, and I didn't think anybody could handle. All right, we'll go back to this.
Do I need to put up the old trigger warning?
Yeah, trigger warning. But this is how she's gonna, pave the way forward for her control over the news. Brace yourselves.
See the moment that we're in. And all of us see that the choices that it feels like we have sometimes, which is Hassan Piker and Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes and, Andrew Tate, the kind of people that are rising in the podcast charts, those don't actually represent our values. And I don't think that they represent the values and the worldview of the vast majority of Americans. And so this is an opportunity to speak for the 75%, for the people that are on the center left and the center right that still believe in equality of opportunity, that still believe passionately in the American project, that still believe in all of the things that everyone in this room believes in, which is liberty and freedom and individual responsibility and in the most basic level, the right to know what is actually going on in the world. Not the world as propagandists and ideologues imagine it to be, but what's actually going on in the world and in your community, so you can make decisions about where to send your kids to school, about where to live, and about how to vote.
Okay. I think she was at Columbia. It might have been Harvard, but I think Columbia. And her claim to fame is that she was trying to get, you know what? I think it was Columbia because I think it might have been Rashid Khalidi, trying to get him and other pro-Palestinian professors fired. So that is her idea of, American, values that we are trying to uphold. She calls her outfit the free press. She talks about honesty and truth, and she wants to silence anybody who disagrees with her. Because yes, she is big, disgusting, genocidal Zionist. Who, by the way,
yeah,
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, and to lump in Hassan Piker with Tucker Carlson and Andrew Tate, as if there's some correlation there. Like, I think most of the country would, if they watched an hour of Hassan Piker's show, they would agree with everything he says.
Yeah,
most of the people on Earth, even the MAGA folks, he speaks in a way that's just like, you deserve this shit, you know.
Yeah. She is. I mean, I think she considered herself for a long time like a center lib. I hate center because they're not center; they're far right. They're corporate libs. But that's the whole game with them. It's all horseshoe theory, right? It's all like, oh, it's the far right and the far left are exactly the same. They all do this. The Joanne Reids and the James Carville and Hillary Clinton. That's their favorite thing to do, right?
And they make that connection basically based on nothing other than like, oh, you're mad at us. You're mad at us. They're mad at us.
Yeah.
You guys are both mad at us from different directions. You must be the same somehow.
Yeah, because you're angry.
Not like, let's talk about the policies that the left wants or the ones that the right wants.
Yeah,
we talk all the time. Yeah. Democrats talk all the time about what the right wants. It's you know, to take away our rights and the anti-trans and all that bullshit.
Yeah,
bring abortion, get rid of abortion. But the left wants healthcare, you know, living wage.
The true left, not the lib left. Yeah, exactly. And so for them to conflate, like to collapse the difference between the, you know, white supremacists, ultra nationalists, and the people who want socialism is just, it's one of the most despicable tricks of these corporate Democrats.
That used to just be normal. And the goal of what we're trying to do at CBS is to get back to that normalcy. And I feel incredibly energized and enthusiastic because I think that is where the vast majority of Americans actually are.
Well, yeah, you know what that's also code for? That's also code for they're going to bring back the scary black man on the news every night. Like a black guy over in somewhere committed a crime. Here's footage. Because that's what the right wants to see. And that's what the scary libs want to see as well.
We just need normal. We can't be woke anymore. So we're going to throw everybody stuff, guys. No more immigrants. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was looking up who she dated. Not that that matters, but I think she dated Eve Bartlow for a long time.
Vote. That used to just be normal. And the goal of what we're trying to do at CBS is to get back to that normalcy. And I feel incredibly energized and enthusiastic because I think that is where the vast majority of Americans actually are.
Well, so that articulation of that set of goals to speak into the lives of the 75%, how are you going to do that? What's your strategy for success?
So I think one of the problems is a lot of people have tried to do centrist news. I know this because I am like the target audience for those things. And the reason that they have all failed is it's like trying to force feed spinach down someone's throat, right? It's felt very like tofu, oatmeal. It's like centrist news is choosing the midpoint between every single topic. It's felt like an absence of charisma and identity. And I, you know, as nostalgic as people might be for an era in which 30 million Americans every night watch Walter Cronkite and saw him as the voice of truth, and I understand why they're nostalgic for that, we're not going back to that. So how do you build trust in a moment of unbelievably low trust in all of our public institutions, especially the mainstream press? I don't think it's by pretending like we can go back to having a view from nowhere. I think it's about who's in the room, right? I think it's about redrawing the lines of what falls in the 40-yard lines of acceptable debate and acceptable American politics and culture. And I don't mean that in like a censorious gatekeeping way. I mean having people that are clearly identifiably on the center left and on the center right.
Like she's actually just saying out loud manufacturing consent.
Her plan. Right.
Yeah. And also like exactly what manufacturing consent is. Like, we're going to tell you what's normal. the normal parameters. And now wait till you hear the two people, the left and the right of her 40-yard spectrum of normal, acceptable debate.
In conversation with each other. And we've been doing so much of this at the Free Press. I was in, where was I? Chicago. Last week, I think, I've lost all track of time, where Dana Lash, former spokeswoman from the NRA, was debating Alan Dershowitz on guns. Now, these are people that have wildly different opinions on the Second Amendment, and yet showing that they can have good faith, very passionate, very charismatic disagreement and still like each other at the end of the day, we think it's important. And so for me, it's always about the curation, like who's in the room, how are you showing centrist news, not as the absence of disagreement and the absence of charisma, but explicitly charismatic and disagreeable, and yet doing it in good faith. And the other way you do it is, by being really honest with your audience. Like,
I mean, can you imagine that Dershowitz is her version of left of center? I mean, it's pathetic. And she is making so much money to be this person, just to tell exactly what her corporate masters want her to say, which she also believes in, which, I mean, I don't care actually what she believes, but I do think she believes in it. Yeah.
I mean, right out the gate, she gives it away with, we're trying to cater to the 75%. Can you back up your 75% number with anything whatsoever? No, it's just a completely fabricated number.
Yeah.
And everybody just rolls on it like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. 75% are in the middle.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly right. That is exactly the thing. She is paid to manufacture consent and say these people are, they're too destructive. Nobody wants what they want. They're too radical. They turn people off. She is gross.
Yeah,
that's her plan.
If your plan is to have forums full of people that shake hands at the end and agree, you are the milk. You're going to be presented milk toast.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the formula for it. Like, we don't want the elites. We don't want the Democrat and the Republican to have dinner at night after they're on these shows together. We want them to fucking hate each other. They should fucking hate each other. If you believed in what you believe,
exactly,
honestly, you would hate each other.
Yeah. That whole civility, tone policing is all about just taming people and telling them to shut up. Just, shut up and vote. But what's interesting, and now I have to put my readers on, is she, just like most mainstream, whatever, corporate Democrats, Mamdani is, anti-Semitic. He's Hamas. He's going to be, remember this one from Carville? James Carville calls Zohran Mamdani's New York City mayoral primary victory a potentially damaging event for the Democratic Party. Remember, he's going to be toxic. That's what they said about Bernie. Like, well, Bernie might win, but he's going to hurt all the down ballot races. So
look, if Mamdani held to his guns, and if he does stick to his guns and delivers on this policy, it is going to be bad for the Democratic brand, because they've been fighting him tooth and nail, and they're going to continue fighting him. And in the midterms, they're trying to run all these feds.
Yep.
Like, not actual leftists, not actual progressives at all.
Right.
So your whole brand is to not be him. Your whole brand is to be Bari Weiss. Bari Weiss.
Barry. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So now we have, this is incredible to me. And let's see him change his tune if there is a Democratic majority in the House after the midterms, and like they could actually possibly get something done, or if in 2028 there's a Democratic president. James Carville just came out last week with this editorial, this op-ed in the New York Times, out with woke. Of course, they're just all so gross, but in with rage. And here he is. It is time for Democrats to embrace a sweeping, aggressive, unvarnished, unapologetic, and altogether unmistakable platform of pure economic rage. This is our only way out of the abyss. Just as we did in 2018 and even 2020, it's all but certain that Democrats will turn out urban and suburban voters in the midterms, specifically the kind of people who vote regularly. At this point, is a damn near guarantee for our party. And we must continue to surge these voters. What we must also do, blah, blah, whatever. Here he goes. Just as it was for the Mamdani campaign. Oh, look at you, Fairweather. Raging against the rigged, screwed up, morally bankrupt system that gave us the cost of living crisis must be the centerpiece of every Democratic campaign in America. Unless you're the top 1%, this touches everybody. Even lifelong Republicans know this economy isn't working. Motherfucker. He has done more damage than, he and the Clintons, right? But yes, as I think Saul said, like they're all part of that Democratic Leadership Council or coalition, whatever the hell, that was funded by the Koch brothers in the 80s to go right, to, make Democrats not the party of the working class anymore. He helped crush every single labor-focused, economically progressive candidate, and now he's going to come in after over like a decade, smushing Bernie every chance he gets, and now he's all about
exactly. And even his message now, it's really just run on this bullshit to win. That's how they look at it.
Yeah.
Like it's all political strategy of like, let's pretend we're left progressives but woke. And who's pushing that strategy as well? Gavin Newsom, Kirk Buddy. Did you see today? He just he said he's against tax.
Did I see it? Let's take a look.
See, I wasn't even here today because I was working all day, but you're on it. See,
we were both working. We're both doing different stuff. Yeah,
clips.
But this is incredible because clearly the mood in the country is one of tax the rich or bring out the fucking guillotines, right? Like that's why we're not seeing the Luigi stuff as much as we probably should be, because they thought they were going to be able to trot Luigi out and villainize him.
Well,
whatever. But anyway, he's like a hero to everybody. So here's Gavin. So good.
Which is funny that you mentioned it. And real quick, right before I pulled to my house apartment, socialist apartment, small little place.
Yeah.
Was listening to NPR, and they had on a person who talked to a bunch of people, different segments of the healthcare system, and they were talking about healthcare stocks. And it's 1 year ago, UHC's stock was 45% higher, so they lost 45% drop in a year. And her big point, she had some nuanced stuff, but the takeaway is that everyone should care about how the health insurance companies are doing, because if they're not profiting, we're all fucked.
Oh my God. That's NPR.
That was the whole segment. Yeah. NPR.
Was that the person they were interviewing, or was that their journalist talking?
So the host had on a person who also talked to other people. So it was three steps away from the actual person, but they pretended it was nuanced, but the whole point of it was to say economically, these insurance companies have to thrive or it's really bad for the economy.
That is unbelievable. Like truly, Luigi did more to affect the health insurance industry than anybody in the squad or Bernie. Like unbelievable.
Yep. Anyway, I diverged.
Those corporate libs, like I get so like tense and angry because they are evil, but people think that they're good. And it makes normie Dems think that those are the good guys. It makes me crazy. So here is Gavin Newsom, who right now is probably the most likely to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2028.
So there is a wealth tax proposal in California that I think you are adamantly against.
Yes, I am.
And we have a mayor that's coming here in New York who would like to have a wealth tax if he could. You couldn't be more diametrically opposed.
Yeah, well, I want to be a Big Ten party. It's about addition, not subtraction.
But this idea of a unifying theory of the case.
I mean, I think we all want to be protected. We all want to be respected. We all want to be connected to something bigger than ourselves. We have fundamental values that I think define our party about social justice, economic justice. I think we recognize it's important to focus on growth, but also focus on inclusion. We have pre-distribution Democrats. We have redistribution Democrats. And therein lies the dialectic, and therein lies the debate within the Democratic Party. We also have Democrats that are representative of their districts, representative of the people that they represent. So much punditry has been done about, well, is the future of the party Mandami? At the same election that occurred, well, is the future, hold on, of Virginia? Is the future New Jersey? Is the future?
But which is it? And that's the question about the unifying theory question, which is you could have a big tent, but if the theories of the case are so diametrically opposed, how split and broken is the party?
Look, the party's knitting itself back together. We got shellacked in the last election. And there's been a lot of forensic analysis, perhaps not enough, about what happened.
What's the big tent that they're talking about? It's never the left. He's only saying that because Mamdani won. He does not want the left. Oh, sorry. You're
Oops. Yeah. They see it all from a branding perspective. Their big tent is like Pepsi needs to own all the sodas. We got to have, because we'll sell more shit if we got all these brands.
Yeah.
So we can have his brand, my brand, everybody's brand, but it'll be good for the Democratic Party, which is not good for people if your brand is so different. If you're not either, if you're in California of all places and you're not going to push to tax the billionaires, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is a place where you have the most support for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have more people living on the streets in this state, I think, probably than any other state. Tax the fucking billionaires. Every chance he gets to veto a pro-labor bill, he does. He vetoed 3 right after the SAG WGA strike ended 2 years ago. He just vetoed another one here in October. And, this is Adam Carlson just said, just put up this. Wait, sorry, I just need to move this out of the way for a second so I can see this poll from the Economist YouGov poll, which was the beginning of November. It's 95% of Democrats, 75% of independents, and 48% of Republicans support raising taxes on billionaires. So what is the tent? He is not, it's not good policy, but it's also not good politics. All it is doing the bidding of his donors. That's it.
You weren't listening close enough. It's pre-distribution versus redistribution. Does that not clarify it? First off, there isn't a single, even Mamdani isn't pushing redistribution of wealth. I mean, restructure future wealth, but nobody's going to come, and redistribution implies we're going to take your big house, we're going to give it to these other people.
Right.
It's nonsense. So he's putting that out as a polar opposite of him. Like, you don't want to be that extreme, but he's not actually making the case of the differences. The difference is he doesn't want to tax the rich. He doesn't want to go after the rich because his whole life is rich. He's got rich friends. They're rich. Wine Cave Newsom during the pandemic, rich.
He really is just a repugnant specimen. And the fact that people call him progressive, and also, the pushback is never, and I saw Audrey wrote something about they think it's about the rage or whatever, just be angry and inclusive. And you're right. But I don't think he really thinks that. His whole job is to take care of the French Laundry people, Silicon Valley, the tech bros, Hollywood studios. That's his whole deal. And to try to sell it as something that's just, it just makes sense. It's like Bari Weiss, it's just normal. That's just normal. And we'll be a big tent. We'll have the crazy far radical lefties who want to tax the wealthy and give people free childcare the way they do in New Jersey, by the way, but nobody talks about that. Who are the same as Nick Fuentes, those guys out, but I will party and kiss the balls of Charlie Kirk and let my teenage kid listen to him every day. I hate it.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, he's basically pushing old school trickle down Reaganomics, to Democrats. He's saying, well, we can't tax the rich in California because they'll take away their jobs. They'll move and take away their jobs. We won't get big businesses coming in here and all that typical. That's all Republican bullshit.
And right now, the rich are firing everybody in their sight. So like we're watching it all happen. All these guys, these tech billionaires who just keep growing their stock portfolios or whatever the hell, who, are almost trillionaires, are firing everybody. Where's the trickle down? Like, why aren't we seeing the trickle down? But like that, what is it, Andrew Ross Sorkin, who's interviewing him, doesn't push back. They never ask the right question that would make them melt. Like, why do you want a big tent if that means that the people like the Spanbergers and the Mickey Sherrill, whatever the hell, would absolutely fight against what most of the country wants and what your left flank in your big tent also want? How is that helpful? All that does is stagnation. So like, what is the plan moving forward? How do you think you're going to get all these homeless people off the streets? How are you going to get people to be able to afford their lives? How are you going to get people healthcare when you make sure that single payer doesn't come to California, even though you ran it? Like, so what's your plan? Because you've now been like, they never ask that ever.
Yeah. Or just keep it on Mamdani, who do you think would win between you and Mamdani here in California, California? Like, I mean, whose policies are more popular in your state? I mean, he'd lie, but the truth is Mamdani would be massively popular in California.
Of course.
He'd sweep everything. Like, it would
that was the thing, and again, like, I know we're all beyond Bernie and yada, yada, but in 2020, when Bernie won the first 3 primaries, Biden wins South Carolina, like, no Democrat's going to win that anyway. Who the fuck cares? But they're like, oh, because he got the black vote. And then it turned out in the end, it actually wasn't really the black vote. It was a lot of white, sometime Republicans who came out to really push him in bigger numbers. But then on Super Tuesday, 3 days later, Bernie wins 50 out of 54 counties in the largest state in the country, the 4th largest economy in the world, the most diverse state. And that was like crickets. Well, Bernie's done. Clearly, he's not going to win. And this comatose, eye bleeding, mental, declining guy is our ticket. Like, and nobody pushed back.
And I mean, and they could have also leaned on Nevada, which if you're actually studying diversity,
absolutely,
Nevada, Bernie kicked ass in Nevada. We knew he was going to. It was our only chance to cook a story about Bernie being unpopular with the base. And they did it. They ran. But everybody knew in advance that was going to be the outcome. I mean, I don't want to relive this forever. I
know. It's just like the fact that journalism is dead, obviously, in corporate media, but that's a big part of why we don't have a democracy, because they are not revealing the truth. Like, their whole thing is to push back against people in power, not to hope to get invited to their parties in the Hamptons. And they never do that. Okay. And then, yes, I think I saw somebody say something about Halle Berry. I just think this is interesting because, and I don't know what her politics are, but, in Los Angeles, everybody at least pretends to be sort of like a good normie Dem. And she's already speaking out against Gavin Newsom, and she has been for a while. I think we showed a video that she did about 5 months ago, talking about how he vetoed a part of the health plan that would help menopausal women, get more affordable treatment. And he vetoed that. So she's speaking out against that, which, I love. I mean, I want everybody to be contentious against or confrontational against the people in power. None of these people deserve us to give them a moment of peace. Like, they always need to know that we are demanding something of them and criticizing them when they do things that aren't, helpful. But anyway,
absolutely.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
I love it. And apparently, I mean, I saw that tweet and read the comments under it. I don't know anything about her either, but people were saying that she's a real one, and she's been an activist for women's rights.
Yeah.
And is a, big donor for progressive causes.
Yeah. Well, good.
I
I'm
don't know.
glad. Because it's happened so rarely with Democrats, right? That they call out one of their own who has a chance of winning. So maybe tides are turning just a little bit.
They are, but I wanted to bring up Zaina's comment because this is important to know. The DSA took over Nevada State Party because they did, and we have this pushes in California to get buy-in for state version of Medicare for all, for example. So people are always preaching, well, take over the party from inside. Let's do it from inside. They took over leadership of the whole Nevada State Party, and the Democratic establishment defunded the state party.
They basically absconded with all the money. Yeah.
They're like, you're dead to us.
Yeah.
You have no money. You're never going to win another election
in our democracy. Yeah.
Right.
It's disgusting. So that's what happens when you try to take over the party. It's really frightful. Another person who is out there now touting the, what we used to call the Bernie agenda, but just, lefty progressive economic politics. This is quite the combo. Prepare your trigger warning number 2 or 3. I don't know. We have a lot of trigger warnings today. Here we go. Joy Reid talking to, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Wajahat Ali, where all progress goes to die, who I think Zohran Mamdani just brought on to his transition team. Here we go.
Neoconservatism, done. But the other one that's dead, neoliberalism.
That's right.
This idea that you're going to have a cozy relationship with corporate America, cozy relationship with billionaires because they're the nice billionaires, cozy relationship with Silicon Valley. I see people out there saying the mistake of Biden is that he didn't embrace Elon Musk. He should have been Elon's friend instead of letting Trump be Elon's friend. This neoliberalism idea that we can have a cozy relationship with capitalism and we can have our own nice version of it, that is dead, y'all. Young people don't even believe in capitalism anymore because they can't afford to live in a system where billionaires eat everything and leave us with the crumbs. The American people don't want to fight foreign wars. We don't want to be Israel's lackey being walked around on a leash by Bibi Netanyahu while he's genociding Palestinians. We don't want to remake, Trump's trying to remake the Palestinian Mandate and put American troops on the ground in Gaza to enforce Jared Kushner getting to have a massive real estate deal. I don't care whether you're left, right, or it don't matter. None of us want that.
I mean, yeah. Well, now it's safe to say it.
Yeah.
She was pretty good on Palestine pretty early on, which I think is why, she was fired. But she did so much damage all along.
Look, if she wasn't fired, she would not be holding any of these positions. So
exactly.
I'm glad to see it. I think she does have a base that falls, or it'd be like if Rachel Maddow dropped out and suddenly started her own lefty podcast.
Went back to who she used to be.
Come back to who she was,
Yep.
She could be the Candace Owens of the left. So there's value in these people coming out and having this discussion. I'm glad to see it, but also,
let's see what happens.
A little fuck you. A little fuck you because you literally were paid to be pushing that neoliberalism.
Yep.
And you did it happily until you got fired.
Yeah, exactly. And did a lot of harm. Like, how many people died because we had Trump in 2016 and then we had Biden in 2020 and now we have Trump again. Like, think about again, listen, Bernie wouldn't have changed everything. They would have made sure that he failed, all that kind of stuff. But she had a big platform. If she had been speaking out loud about the things we all knew were necessary to save our country and the world, honestly.
Yeah.
If James Carville had but they were so beholden to their donors and so I honestly
instead of news, wasn't she the one who had the body body expert,
exactly,
body language expert on who's
let's
talk about what Bernie's face actually probably means here. Well, he hates women, he's racist.
He gives me, didn't she say he gives me like chicken skin or creepy Carlies or something? That was her major contribution to politics.
Yeah.
And, and again, I am just waiting to see what happens when, just like Newsom, who ran on single payer, as soon as Democrats are in power, will people be talking about Medicare for all again? Will they be talking about economic rage and radicalism when there are enough Democrats who could affect change? We'll have to see. Right now, they're all saying that because Democrats are powerless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The second they have power, they're like, well, you may have gotten elected because of the economic populism, but you got to govern now. That was just an election.
We're big
literally
tent.
Kamala Harris. That was just
We're big
an
tent.
election.
Yeah. It was a debate.
It was a debate. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to show something fun, or do you want to move on, or where are you in there?
Yeah, let's show some joy because we are going to keep it to an hour-ish today. So let's White House correspondent. Here we go. This is the White House on Thanksgiving Day.
And per tradition, President Trump is going to pardon Sir Gobblesworth, Winston Churchill, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, if we could talk...
Wait a minute, what?
It's a beloved Thanksgiving tradition. Don't make it weird, Carl.
But, okay, is that the name of a turkey?
I understand your confusion. Sir Gobblesworth is not a knight, he is a turkey. And yes, he was in the Capitol on January 6th, probably a migratory thing. Didn't punch a cop. If he did, maybe he was provoked.
Okay, I'm not talking about that one.
Right, okay. Winston Churchill, also a turkey for anybody confused like Carl, okay? How he got to Epstein's Island's anybody's guess. It's a flightless bird. I find that less confusing than I find it inspirational.
No, you said
Think you've had plenty of time, Carl. We're going to move on. Fun new holiday tradition we're going to do. We're going to deport some squirrels, hang some flightless pervert Democrat birds like penguins and ostriches, and I am going to execute this pig, Samuel Adams, on live television. Quiet, piggy.
Oh my God.
It's all too real to be funny. That's not even.
I know. I mean, that's the thing is like they've killed humor. They've killed my humor at least. I can't. I only take responsibility for that. But yes, it's all just like it's hard even to satirize what's happening now. And yes, I do think that if she's invited back into the club, she will.
Oh yeah,
fall right back in line.
100%.
Yeah, and
this all could be a shtick to have her on the fake left again. She starts a podcast network.
Right.
She's sort of, she's funded by the centrist Bari Weisses of the world. You know. The money will flow to her, and then they're like, okay, so you're going to be out there pushing this left stuff, but then when the elections come around, you're going to be like, you got to be the responsible adult in the room and still vote Democrat. So that funnels all that energy back to the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Yep. I feel that happening. Okay. Do you want to stay on economy stuff since that's kind of where we are? Let's just
let's just.
All right. So Trump obviously kind of won on saying he was going to lower prices and bring American jobs back, and Biden and Kamala were all about the vibe session, and it was just in people's heads, and Bidenomics were so strong and the GDP was so great. Now that Trump has been in office for 11 months, 10 months, I don't even know. Everything sucks. And for a long time, they just kept blaming Biden, but now he's a quarter of the way into his regime and everything's horrible. So now this is his response to what's happening with the whole affordability crisis.
Mr. President, thank you. Yeah, Michelle. When you talk about affordability, is going forward, are the American people, do you believe, getting impatient with the reforms that you're making? They've talked about it's about.
I think they're getting fake news from guys like you. Look, affordability is a hoax that was started by Democrats.
It's what he ran on. Like, what are you talking about? What?
And look, you can't just lie to everybody watching you. Like, the people affected by affordability know life is getting less affordable. You can't just do that, dude.
And he knows that because he ran on that. Like, he ran on it when Kamala and Biden were doing that. He's just, he used to be better at kind of like at least trying to make a nod to what people want. But so this, it's tragic. Like, I'm laughing about how insane he is. But here's the job loss from November: 32,000 jobs lost in November. Most industries were doing layoffs. The only ones still hiring are hospitality and healthcare for rich people, which is what we talked about yesterday, right? They're all sort of like focusing their efforts on the wealthy, because the wealthy don't mind if things go up by quite a bit because it's all sort of disposable for them. But also that's what the K-shaped economy is. Larger companies are still hiring, smaller firms under 50 workers are doing the layoffs. And this is not a hoax. This is what people have been feeling for. I mean, I'm not even just blaming Trump, although he's done nothing to help, and it's only hurt because of the tariffs, because of Doge, because of the huge and very fast investment in AI. But like, this has been going on for a long time.
And I think that's the important part here. It has been going on for a long time, but if we're projecting where this goes, all those terrible policies recently put in place are coinciding at the exact same time we're having an irresponsible uptick in AI and basing our entire economy on AI. And if the AI is successful, it just replaces jobs. So that even if it all works perfectly, there's no fucking plan to make anything affordable for anybody. So my point with that is, year one, we haven't felt the impact of the policies for real yet. It's just going to get worse, and it's going to get worse at a rate we haven't seen. Like, we're talking depression bad.
I mean, it really is, unless, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to hold out like a glimmer of hope. The fact that Carville and Joy Reid are even verbalizing these things. The fact that somebody like Jennifer Welch on I've Had It podcast, who is just like a wine mom normie lib, is railing against the system. Listen, things take forever to happen, but then other things can happen overnight, right? Like we can transfer $1 trillion to the wealthiest people with the sign of a pen, basically. So I think if the will is there, and if people are outraged enough, and if the people in power realize that, like, there has to be fear, there has to be Luigi out there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Luigi thing, it changed people's focus, but it didn't change policy at all, right? So I do think they're capable of having to respond to us. I do think we're capable of shutting something down enough to force an immediate policy change. I do think that's possible. Are we there yet? No, because we have too many people that still think, let's take over the Democratic Party, or let's, a couple more Democrats, but most of the lefties who've been following politics for a long time all agree that we need something huge, because we can't wait for any of this stuff to go through the normal political process.
I mean, things have to happen quickly. Every day people are dying because of this. And so, okay, a couple of polls came out, and it's just heartbreaking, honestly. Gen Z, like a majority of them, say that they believe things are going in the wrong direction, 67%. And then when you start sort of like going into all the different aspects of it, young Americans say the country is heading down a dark road. They are more worried about the country's future now. Economic insecurity, I know we know all that, obviously, but also 39% said that political violence is acceptable, which is interesting. This is a poll of people making six figures who say they're feeling stretched, struggling, or drowning in their finances. And I know there's like a lot of, poking fun at people making six figures, but there was an article that went viral like right before I left for Thanksgiving. And so we wanted to kind of just address it, because it's by this economist named Michael W. Green, And he basically recalculates what poverty line is, what the floor is, where people are truly desperate, but then there's a big range where they're still struggling. And what he calculates is that line is about $140,000 for a family of 4 with 2 people working and 2 children. So just bear with me for a second, because I know there's like this thing where it's like, oh, they're making, 100 grand. But the thing is, like, when you are, and I don't want anybody to be making what I think right now the poverty line is like $38,000. There are some government assistance programs for people who are at that level. Once you add a second working person into the mix, and then all of a sudden they're making $80,000, all of those possible government social safety disappear, because everything's means tested here. This is why leftists always want universal programs that anybody can have, where you're not having to fill out paperwork and, oh my God, I just made 3 cents more and now I've crossed a line. And now, so once 2 people are working, that second income at like that $40,000 income is going entirely to childcare. Plus, you don't get Medicaid or SNAP benefits. So it was just a really interesting analysis. He points out that the poverty line was first determined in, I think, 1963. This week, while trying to understand why the American middle class feels poorer each year despite healthy GDP growth and low unemployment, I came across a sentence buried in a research paper. The U.S. poverty line is calculated as 3 times the cost of a minimum food diet in 1963, adjusted for inflation. He says, I read it again, 3 times the minimum food budget. I felt sick. The woman who developed this policy, Molly Orshansky, they didn't have a lot of housing data at that point. So she was trying to figure out, well, we know what the prices of groceries are, and she multiplied it by 3. She came up with her calculation, but he says she was drawing a floor, a line below which families were clearly in crisis. But everything changed between 1963 and 2024. Housing costs exploded. The labor model shifted. The composition of household spending transformed completely. In 2024, food at home is no longer 33% of household spending. For most families, it's 5 to 7%. Then, and this is the crazy thing, the official poverty line for a family of 4 in 2024 is $31,200. The median household income is roughly $80,000. So we've been told implicitly that a family earning $80,000 is doing fine, safely above poverty, solidly middle class, perhaps comfortable. But if Orshansky's crisis threshold were calculated today using her own methodology, that $80,000 family would be living in deep poverty. So I wanted to see what would happen if I ignored the official stats and simply calculated the cost of existing. I built a basic needs budget for a family of 4, 2 earners, TV, kids, no vacations, no Netflix, no luxury, just the participation tickets required to hold a job and raise kids in 2024. Using conservative national average data, childcare, $32,773. Housing, $23,267.
Very conservative number there.
Very conservative, 100%. Yeah. Food, 14,000. Transportation, 14,000. Healthcare, 10,000. Also very conservative, especially what's about to happen to everybody with the subsidies being denied.
And look, for a family of 4, that's not even attainable. Sorry, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, very conservative, but this is for, just to like basically the floor of a poverty line. But also, yes, wrong calculations, but still. Okay. Healthcare, other essentials, $21,000 required net income for this net is $118,000. So when you calculate in all the federal, state, FICA taxes, it ends up being $136,000 to reach the poverty line. And that is without any streaming channels. That is without a vacation. That's without a broken arm, a trip to the emergency room.
I mean, we have basically a middle class and a poverty class that are really close to each other these days. Like, it's so equalized, because on top of the data you see there, if you're below that, if you're only making $50,000 versus $100,000, you've got tax credits available that will bring you a little bit up, and you'll get some benefits on your health. Some of it gets equalized out. And also, just the psychology of making well over $100,000 a year, you're more likely to put that towards a house and not be able to afford it, and then next thing you know, you got credit card debt because you're surviving on your credit cards.
Yep.
I mean, we got a system where, why do we have so many homeless people? Well, I don't know. 3 times the rent for your deposit on a place is $6,000, right?
Yeah.
Let's conservative say it's $3,000. Well, most people, half the country, can't afford a $500 unexpected bill. So if you suddenly lose your job and you got no income and you got to come up with 3 times the monthly rent, who's got that cash laying around? Who's been struggling to save $500?
And so what a lot of people do for everything, actually, even just groceries, is they do like layaway plans or credit card, which is basically a kind of layaway plan with a crazy interest rate. And unless you win the lottery, you don't get out of that. You cannot save your way out of the debt you incur trying to just have a middle-class life. You have to have a windfall, like, oh, you inherit something, or truly, you win the lottery. Like, how else do you do it? So then that's what also stretches the distance between the people who are doing really well, because just like I was trying to explain this. I mean, this was several years ago now, but like why canceling student debt was okay. And I was like, well, why do poor people have to pay a tax on going to schools that rich people get to pay the sticker price? Poor people have to take out loans. They have to, so they have to take out loans. They have to incur the interest, which is compounds so quickly. It's insane. But the other thing is, even if you're not like fabulously wealthy, but you have even some extra money, you can do a 529. Well, a lot of people don't have the extra money to even put a little bit away every month to think towards the future of their children's education. Nobody has anything extra. So that already, it's like you're paying a tax just to be poor. And that's for everything. Like, oh, you bounce a check. Rich people don't bounce checks. Poor people do. So you have no money, you bounce a check. Now you're paying the fee at your bank plus the people you owe the money to who are it snowballs so quickly.
It's so easy. And if you're not already coming from money and you have a stockpile of some sort, what saves a lot of people, and this is sort of my white privilege myself, is that I have a family I can lean on who has enough money to get me through whatever seems to happen in my life. I'm not saying I have a lot of things happen, but if something were to happen to me, they got me. But that's not a lot of people on this earth. A lot of people from poverty have already lost their parents who didn't have anything to hand down to them. So they've been on their own their whole life, and $500 puts them on the street homeless and hungry.
Yeah. So what's the plan? Like, just raging, which I know that's what we do, but like the thing that Carville is saying, I think on one level, and Joy Reid and the Jennifer Welch person, and anytime that somebody who's popular says something, normie Dems feel like they've been given permission, right? So now they can also say, it's not like, oh, Medicare for all or single payer healthcare, it's impossible. Who's going to pay for it? Is it all that kind of shit? Like, we see money just being funneled out, bail out Argentina, bail out a genocide. By the way, Israelis get free healthcare and college. But like, what is the plan? Because right now there's a permission structure to ask for more, which is great. But if Carville meant it and he weren't just trying to appeal to like the cool kids, same with Joy Reid, they would say, like, why are we giving money to a genocide? That shows where the priorities are in this country. We need to be doing our best for working class people all over the world and here at home. We need to be treating our people better. We need to be investing in our infrastructure. We need, fast, free, upgraded transit for people. We need Medicare for all. We need free public college. But he's not listing those things. So it feels a little to me like we're going to fight, but like, what's the policy? Because until you're specific about that, you're not really asking anything of anybody. You're just kind of putting your finger in the wind and being like, yeah, economic populism. It's so good.
It's performative, and where there's some truth to it, they know that that's what the country believes in. They want the fight, but it's still just to sell more Cokes. So PepsiCo we can have some Mountain Dew. It's just to sell more shit, to get more Democrats, to get more money fundraised from people. Yep. So our team does well, that's it. It's not about actual changing. He never talks about what people need. He talks about what would be good for the Democratic Party. What would be good for the Democratic Party is pretending you're mad.
Yeah.
And pretending you're left.
Yeah, we're fighters. We're fighters. You gotta be fighters. And as soon as they get into power, they will not be fighters at all. Every time that Gavin Newsom has an opportunity to do something for the working class, he rolls up his sleeves and he cleans out another homeless person's last few precious belongings. That's his choice.
He's a dirtbag, and if he's the future of the Democratic Party, which he may be, that speaks a lot to the Democratic Party.
Yeah. And Kitty, I am so sorry you feel shame. I don't think anybody should feel shame about that, because I don't think there's no rich person who hasn't been helped by family. Like, nobody has done this on his or her own ever. They all have, that investment from their families. Like, the fact that they make those of us who don't have a lot of money feel shame for whatever the struggles are that we're going through, that's part of their whole plan. But it's disgusting because it's not true to how they rose to power. Like, Elon Musk did not become a billionaire by hard work, right? Everybody gets help from somebody else. Nobody does this on his own. And, that's their whole plan, is to make everybody feel bad about ever needing a handout when they get like triple dipped subsidies. They get subsidies to build their shitty companies in our spaces. Then they get subsidies because they don't pay their workers enough. And a lot of those workers have government help. So that's like twice that they're getting help. Plus they have generational wealth. They're disgusting. Never feel shame. I mean, I'm not like that. That should never. Fuck all these billionaire assholes. Like, seriously, they're just disgusting.
Amen. And not that we can help much ourselves, but feel free to drop in the chat somewhere where people can help you.
Please do. Yes, absolutely. All right. I know we're close to the end. I just wanted to say a really quick thing about Miss Rachel and these crazy fucking Zionists. It's disgusting. So the Stop Anti-Semitism, it's that time of the year, 2025 Anti-Semite of the year. Vote for your top 3 candidates. So, it's Tucker Carlson. I'm looking for other, like, Stu Peters, I think Bryce Mitchell. Those are like kind of like white supremacist kinds of people. Then Miss Rachel, Guy Christensen, Marsha Cross, Cynthia Nixon, Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian, Kala Walsh. I'm not totally sure. I know I've read some of her stuff, but now I can't remember which way she is. But anyway, like, ridiculous, because they speak up for the rights of Palestinians who are being decimated. This brings it back to what's her face, because she did date
Bartlow.
Yeah, Eve Bartlow. Bari Weiss and Eve Bartlow dated for a while. Also, just this is why I can't watch SNL, or one of the many reasons. Kate McKinnon and Bari Weiss were a couple for a while. Gross. Yeah. But yeah, so here's Eve Bartlow, like, quote tweeting Miss Rachel, wanting kids to live isn't anti-Semitic. This is blood libel. It's that simple. If you don't understand why, you don't know the first thing about Jew hatred. Here's another big account saying Miss Rachel is what the world would be like if the Nazis had Netflix. She is a hyper accelerated form of Hitler Youth, indoctrinating small children to believe murdering Jewish children is liberation. She's never said those words. She just doesn't want Palestinian children to be slaughtered. And then so she put out her own statement. The Stop Anti-Semitism Now group should not be able to try to ruin people's lives, cause them to receive threats and need security, try to get all business partners to drop them, accuse them of a serious crime being paid by Hamas, and get news to cover it with no evidence. I have 2 kids who shouldn't have to deal with the consequences of this, remembering my son accidentally overhearing us talk about my safety and then him crying, wanting to hold my hand all night, scared something would happen to me. This has taken such a toll of me and my family, and all I've wanted was to help kids. I mean, the biggest anti-Semites are these Zionists. They are disgusting. They're just disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously such a kind soul that it just really hurts when these fuckers make their lives hell. It's like the guy, I forget his name, who was in front of the posters at the UN that the Palestinian kids made.
The Danny Dannon or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he walks by him and look at all this anti-Semitism, and it says peace on earth and
love, freedom,
free. You know, it's like, fuck you. We're so over this. And you've really done a lot of harm to the words anti-Semitism. They don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah. And they're so disgustingly cruel that they really truly want anybody, like, just the fact of Palestinians' existence feels like a threat to them. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah. All right. We've been here a while.
All right. We're all right. We're headed out. Oh, we didn't even get to talk about the new other part of media. We'll do it on Sunday. Don't worry. There's a lot to talk about. CNN.
Tune in next time where we finish the story.
Cliffhanger. We'll do a lot. Yeah. All right. Thank you all. We will be back Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, going out on another, just little glimmer of people celebrating love and life in the midst of a lot of devastation. But cheers to anybody who can find a moment to appreciate the people they love. We love you guys. So grateful for this community, truly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Keep punching up.
نرجع نمسكها عادي.
شعور لا يوصف، طاير من الفرح انه رغم كل اللي صار احنا بدنا نبدا حياه جديده الحمد لله، وبدنا نفرح، وان شاء الله تكون هذه نهايه الحرب ان شاء الله.
you.